Hey everyone, this is Almitra Tankersly, and this gal talks credit. I am a credit specialist here in Philadelphia, where in Pennsylvania, because there's more than one Philly, right? I am in Pennsylvania on the East Coast, and I work with small business owners to help them get creative funding, financing outside of the conventional ways of getting lending and opportunities to get access to working capital. So I am also the owner of Credit Fitness, where you can find us online at creditfitness.co. That's creditfitness.co. And today I'm getting on to talk about some things that I think could actually help a lot of you who are business owners, who are more so just a little bit stressed about the process of how to get working capital, how to do some things that could actually, I guess, motivate you into moving to the next phase of building your business. So if that is you, I hope that you can keep watching, so that way this will be something that you can jot down with notes, as well as having a light bulb aha moment, and maybe it would help you to, catapult you into your future of a more financial, steady, and more profitable year coming up in the year 2020. So although you can use the last 2 quarters of this year, which by the way I've been shouting forever, this is the last 6 months of this decade, why not have the opportunity to do something right now instead of waiting to create a New Year's resolution, which we know most people probably do not keep after the second or third day, or let's give you a little bit more, after the second week of the new year. So this is really for you if you are a business owner, you are so serious about changing your actual status, whether it's, making more profit or just increasing your chances of getting better financing, meaning lower payments and ideal payment arrangements for 30-day net accounts, instead of maybe if you're making daily drafts to someone who has established a relationship with you for either revenue lending or what we know more familiar as merchant cash advancements. If you're not aware of what MCAs are, or merchant cash advancements are, it's for those who are bringing in a certain dollar amount in revenue monthly, and they actually qualify for the opportunity of getting an advance on the monies that they would project you to make in the next year or so. And of course, that's contingent on you being able to provide some solid information from the last 2 years current date. So if you have tax returns that show stability, or if you show revenue and you can provide checking account information that can show stability, then this would be for you. Now, merchant cash advancements, I will say, is the most expensive money out there, in my opinion, because most of you as business owners are like, yes, I made $1 million this year. I should be able to get at least $500,000, right? Or $250,000, right? Well, a lot of times, no, you're not right. You're nowhere close. So this is something that I just think that should be talked about and expressed, so that way when you're going into the whole process of building credit, getting access to working capital and financing, you're not going in with blind eyes saying, oh my gosh, I didn't know it was like that, and no, I don't want to do it now. So I just want to make sure you guys know that there is optimum funding, and then there's desperate, backs up against the wall type of funding, which usually falls into that category of MCA. Now, I know someone saying, oh, well, MCA works out really well. Well, of course, it's always going to be an exception to the rule. In fact, I'm going to leave the disclosure now and say that everything that I do say on this video, as well as all the other ones that I have posted, I want you to keep in mind that this is really for educational purposes based on my case studies and the clients that I work with. But if you know you have some real issues and you have some situations where you find yourself in duress, make sure you reach out to an actual professional that will be able to guide you through the process. If you should not, decide to choose us, fine. Make sure you pick someone that you feel comfortable with, that can actually create the plan of action, look at your actual profile, and then come up with something that is feasible and more so, not so much easy, because having a business is not easy. It is actually work. And if you have the stomach and the thick skin to stick around and get through it, then yes, I would say definitely follow the track that has been given to you, because more than likely that professional has done some things on their own where they have their own school of hard knocks, and they can help you jump the line in most cases, so that way your journey is a lot more palatable and more feasible, as well as possibly saving you tens of thousands of dollars. So with that being said, in my disclosure, make sure you just take this as information, as educational purposes, okay? But we're definitely here for you to have the opportunity to actually talk to us, to get in a private setting with us, and really understand what your options are as a business owner, because you're a business owner with no time, and you're trying to keep your doors open. And in most cases, you guys are really experiencing a duress situation. So it doesn't make sense to try to drag out the process and say, I'll wait another month, I'll wait another 2 months. In fact, before I even jumped on, I saw someone that had contacted us last November. And of course, life began to happen. Someone was getting married, then something else happened, and oh my gosh, I gotta pay my business taxes, and then something else. And they just reached out to us today and said, this is the day. I want to get started ASAP. Let's go. So, I mean, I just want you guys to realize how fast time can actually go. And it's super duper fast when you're not paying attention, because a year can go by really quickly. So, with that being said, I hope you guys will utilize the opportunity of getting access to what we're calling do more for less, when it comes to improving your credit scores, improving your financial status, getting access to funding and working capital within the next few months, okay? It can really be in the next few months. And of course, we've joined forces with another company that I'm not going to mention at right now. Those that will actually get access to this information are for those that are honoring the registration process that we have for you to come in with a $10 registration fee. I don't even know why we made it that low. It should have been a lot more higher, because I know that a lot of the information that we give is relative to you actually making moves even right after that classroom setting. So I think the main thing is to make sure we don't have a cattle call, because it's not about always just giving out free information. I want to make sure someone really takes this serious, to where you put skin in the game and say, I am worth the time for me to be in your space, Almitra. I am the one that I want you to look at and give me some of your time, so that way I know from your direct mouth and source that this is going to work for me. And I know a lot of times people come in thinking, this is never going to work for me. I am too far deep into this. I can't even breathe. In fact, I'm not breathing. I'm in a coffin already, and somebody could just put the last nail in and drop me down. So if you're like that, if you're thinking like that, number one, I want you to breathe, because you are still living. And if you don't believe me, take your right hand, place it over your left chest. You feel that? You feel that? I hope you feel that you're living. Okay? So that means you're still in the game. You still have a shot to come back from whatever it is. And I just want you to know that I'm not a person that is a person that's saying, hey, I've been perfect, because I have not. And I will never, ever portray myself as a person who's always had a perfect streak. In the very beginning of me, I guess, finding myself in my career of doing credit and all that good stuff, I was very boastful about having on-time payments with everything. Balances was in check. Like, I was just ugly. I was a monster. And of course, you reap what you sow. And sometimes I think that the way life works is sometimes you will eat your words. And so whether I was eating my words or actually just needing to go through the hard knocks of life so I could be more sensitive to those who are living life and not being able to have perfect payment history and everything is perfect, I think it was good for me to be able to falter, to fall flat on my face and lay on my side, and somebody dragging me while I'm scratching up my side of my face and my arm. I'm just getting all kinds of road rash. Like, it was ugly. I'm trying to explain to you, it was ugly. And so it's not a fun process of what you could be going through. It is not a good feeling. You won't get sleep at night. You may not even want to eat. You may not be able to keep down what you eat. So, I mean, I get it. And so in order to make it a actual successful progress of getting toward your end goal of, one, having your strongest credit profiles, both for personal and business, you got to start somewhere. And starting somewhere is like all your might. Like, okay, I'm looking at this report, and as I'm looking at it, I'm feeling nauseous. Okay, now what do? I looked at it. Okay, these are the scores. And it's like, okay, now that we saw the scores, let's look at the report. And you're like, oh, okay. That was the worst part, I guess, looking at the scores. So once you understand what's on your profile, now we can address some situations. And now, when I say address, I'm not going to be the one to say, okay, well, you have to pay this, and this, and this, and that. Like, that's not me. Never. Okay, I will never do that to you. But what I will do for you is say, what are some of the circumstances that you found yourself in or heading towards before you got to where it just became insane, uncontrollably out of control? Okay, so that way we can start to talk about these ugly feelings. It's almost like a part of what I do is almost like therapy. Okay, because more than likely you've had this stuff bottled up in a sense of being angry about what happened, what led up to it, whether it was through some kind of bad relationship ending, someone passed away, someone got sick, a job layoff. I don't know. You think of all the things that you can think of. It's just, life happens, and just so happens there's a credit score that's attached to your life situation, unfortunately. And in most cases, some people try to belittle the FICO score and the algorithms that are attached to you and all the activity that you're doing of importance, meaning your payment history or your payment transactions to your lenders. We're not so much always thinking about or even care to think about what it is that they might say about you while you're going through your turmoil, your duress, your frustration, your hurt, your anger. And a lot of you are trying to save face. Thank God for makeup, hair, weave, nice suits, and nice cars, because that's the stuff that usually covers up what you're really feeling. And then by the time you get into the driveway or half a piece of driveways, because some of y'all don't have a driveway, y'all gotta park on the street and then walk into your house. I mean, it's just, you have to understand these are all bottled up emotions. So we got to go through a little bit of a therapy session. We don't drag it out, because I would say, once things begin to work for you and your funds are coming together, where, let's just say, if we're just starting from the basics and your credit scores are improving, that means that it could give you some wiggle room to actually buy yourself some cushion space, extra funds to fall on, so you can start saving your actual checks. Okay, because some of you, I know there's a lot of information out there that says don't buy anything until you can fully pay for it in full. Well, listen, I'm gonna say this: big ticketed items, it should not be a debt. No, it should not. And how you can kind of determine or weigh if it's a real debt or not is if you were to buy a home, you should be able to finance a home. But if the financing part for that home is going to make you house poor, where you're struggling to make the payments or scared to catch the flu, or something, that's frivolous. Okay, that is something that you should definitely pump your brakes on and get into something that is affordable. And a lot of times, affordable doesn't mean I gotta live in a box. Like, you could actually go into something where, instead of buying a house in the area that you really, really want to live in, pick a place where you can make money with the property that you're actually starting out with, and make it a duplex, make it a tri or a quad, live in one unit, save for 6 to 12 months. Now you can upgrade to maybe doing it again. Okay, and of course you're going to use your first-time home buyer situation for a lot of you that can do that. And then you do it again and do another 6 months. And now you got a nice big chunk of change that you can actually put towards the place you actually want to live at, be able to afford the taxes that are going to be applied to that property, and live in a more comfortable setting. So this is where you're actually able to use all those different programs and stuff that you guys were listening to while I was offset, and you are able to do what you call budgeting better. You are able to do financial freedoms, and freedoms is multiple, it's plural, because you're not always going to be financially free. It doesn't work that way in this country. And if you are a person that has no credit cards, no debts whatsoever, we already know that your credit report is zero or nothing or not applicable, or we are so sorry, we're going to have to give you the highest interest rates because you haven't had any type of activity to be recorded on your personal report in the last 2 years. Okay, so they penalize you when you want to have this concept of financial freedom and you've completely cleared your record and no one knows exactly what you're doing. Please remember, your debit cards do not have any information that's attached to it that would go to your credit report. The only time that would happen is if you have overdrawn, walked away from a debt, or something in that manner. Okay, but usually that will be negative information. It's not going to be positive. Okay, so I really need you to understand and start getting rid of some of the, really all of the bad information that you may have sucked in over the decade, and get rid of it, because it's not going to help you in 2020 as well as the rest of the years to come if you're blessed to live that long. So, doing more for less is focusing on how you can utilize what you have right now. Today we heard, or I should say in my office, there are going to be 2,500 job losses in Philadelphia alone. And my thing is, if you're working for a large corporation, and in a sense this is a large hospital in Philadelphia, Hahnemann, they are laying off a bunch of people, and it will be closing, the hospital will be closing in September of this year. And that gives people at least, less than 2 months, maybe 3, to get their act together, as maybe trying to tighten up some reins and save some money or whatever the case may be. But to have 2,500 jobs as a loss in our city, which is really compacted, that is major, okay? And I can promise you that a lot of these individuals are not even ready. They're not even ready. In fact, the idea and concept of having 6 to 12 months of a 1 month savings is unrealistic. It's a unicorn, right? In most cases, for a lot of people, it is a unicorn. Now, of course, I know there's that 1%, 2% that's watching and saying, well, I have it. Well, that's nice. But the majority is that most people, you know, they do a lot of things that usually is not so much, you know, the norm for everyone, okay? So you have to understand that in order for you to really get ahead of whatever you got going on, is trying to find resources that work, number one, and number two, can be affordable for where you are, okay? We're talking about working with the bare minimum shoestring budget you can think of, and then say, okay, I know I have to invest some way, some form, and really, like, just get over the fact that everything can't be for free. And then also understand that if you are going to do consideration for payment, understand it's either paying money or paying time. And if you try to balance it out, you can pay with money and time at the same time and still kind of make some continual progress towards your end goal of breaking free wherever you're from, okay? So I just want to make sure I can kind of pump that out there so that way you can start thinking differently and really have a different mindset altogether towards your income that you make, because I know some of you are just angry already, like it's Wednesday and some of you got your direct deposit, or you're going to get your direct deposit tonight at 11:59 and you're angry. You're like, man, this payday is not even going to last me till next payday. It's payday to Monday, right? And with the whole, you know, celebration of Independence Day approaching, you're already like, oh, this could come at a worse time. Now, of course, the ones that planned and, you know, already had put their stuff together, okay, that's what's up. Kudos to you. But for the most part, a lot of you are like, I'm not ready. I am not ready. I need this check, and I wish my check could go hocus pocus, abracazam, double itself. Yes, ma'am. I don't know. That was cute, right? So I'm just saying, you have to make sure you put your mind in a different, like a whole different mindset, and then say, okay, now what can I do? After you know that you can say, now what can I do, you're making progress, okay? So using this opportunity is going to allow you to get information that I normally cannot disclose publicly. Like right as I'm talking to you guys, there are companies that say, hey, please don't mention our name, keep us quiet, just talk to your clients one-on-one, however you set that up, where you do your consults, or, just keep us confidential, because we like to stick around for a really long time and help other, clients that are looking for ways to build themselves, to strengthen their profiles. And so this will allow you to do that, and they are able to help you at the least expensive way to do it. So in order to really kind of start the journey, again, we will be able to talk to you in that private setting and I'm giving you a crash course, because I don't believe in allowing you guys to get access to a bunch of money, and then or even if it's $10,000. I mean, I don't think $5,000 and $10,000 is a lot of money, but in some cases it is for you. And I want to make sure that you are more so, you're more so in a position to understand that the 5 or 10 that's given to you does not affect your psyche in an ugly way, or a way where it gives you anxiety or something to that effect. When you get funds, I want you to have an exit strategy before you even get into the debt. Okay? And that takes discipline. If you are a person that has complete discipline, you are okay, but you always should have a coach that can be your accountability partner to make sure you stay on your P's and Q's. Some of the best, in fact, all the best athletes out here have not one, but several coaches. Even Oprah Winfrey has several coaches and mentors, and she's a billionaire. So understand, in order to get to certain levels, you got to have coaches. I have coaches. I have mentors. There's no way I would, pretend like, oh, I am who I am because of what I am. Like, no. That sounds good, but that's hogwash. You need to make sure you have someone that can be your accountability partner and coach, and someone that's trustworthy, someone that's just not out here to, suck you dry from your finances out of your own pocket. Get someone that actually knows what they're doing, okay? And understand that the better, I would say, the better their knees are scuffed up, okay? That means they done went through some stuff, and you can ask them like really weird scenario questions, and they can answer it, and it's like, man, I didn't think of that. That's the person you should have on your team, okay? Because that is a person that can give you so much ammo on how to stay out of trouble, and if you're facing trouble, how to be able to maneuver to either slow down from getting into trouble, because some of you still are going to get into trouble, okay? But you have to just have backup plans on top of backup plans. It really is not, it doesn't make financial sense to say I got one plan of action and that's it. That would be not smart at all as a business owner. So doing more for less means using resources that can actually spawn off, one, checking the report, seeing issues on the report, and then doing something about it. In most cases, there are a lot of programs out here, whatever their business models are, I'm not here to knock that, but in reality, we have a lot of people who I deal with just don't have time. So if they're not in position to wait a whole year for something, then there are other options, and those are the options that I'm talking about. So because I've done my research, because I scrutinize, and I have all right too, and that's because I did make a bunch of mistakes when I first started out. I've been in the game for 20 years. I've seen a lot of stuff. I heard a lot of stuff. People who talk a good game usually have no results, or bare minimum at best. The ones that usually are tight-lipped and you usually don't see them too much, they're the ones that's grinding, getting it, doing what they do, and they do it very well, and they usually are expensive. Okay? So all I'm saying is that I understand certain ebb and flows of services that are available to us as consumers, and it's almost like if you see enough of them, if you study enough cases, you can kind of understand which one is probably a good way to go. It's almost like trying to figure out what the best risk factor is for you and your success. So with that example used, we are definitely going to give you guys the opportunity as a business owner to be in the room. And this is for business owners as well as first-time home buyers, because I know some of you who are business owners, you can kind of cross-reference the scenario of purchasing a home, whether it's, your first, your second, or third, whichever. But you want to position yourself where your credit report, notice I didn't say anything about scores. You want to make sure that your report is strong enough to handle either purchasing a home or buying money for your company. Okay? And I said buying money because you're buying money for your company. It is very abstract, and I think a lot of people who do get into the field, or I should say get into my field of funding and getting financing, they're more so acclimated to apply online or call on the phone or go into the branch and they say approved, and you're like, yay, and then the money goes into your account or they issue a card. That's what you guys are used to. But when it comes to funding, understand, when funding is being done on your behalf, there are funds that have to be made available either from your pocket or from the funds that were provided to you to take care of the individuals who worked on your behalf, with your underwriters, doing negotiation, all that good stuff. And so it's almost like paying what you would pay on a credit card or a loan in the back end and having it readily available in the very front end. And so for those that are doing business funding or thinking about business funding, don't freeze up and say, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. Understand, you're buying money. Either way, you're either buying it conventionally and they're just going to slam you as much as they can and stretch that bill out for however many years they can get out of you. Or in this situation, you would be able to still get the funding. Okay, negotiations are always usually done just because as business funding is something brand new or is brand new for you, you've never established yourself, or maybe you established yourself but your file is still too thin, and you go for funding, there's a high chance that you could be declined. And so you need to have someone in your, more so like your liaison, someone who can, represent you and be there to say, hey, wait 1 second, before you completely write this person off, look at this part of their credit report, or look, how about this? What was it that declined them? Like, they are now having an open dialogue between the underwriter for the company that is saying we declined you and representing you. Okay, and so as they are doing what they do, which is a career in itself, because I know someone is saying, how come you don't do that, Almitra? Don't you do that? You're the credit specialist. Listen, I know my lane. It is layers to this thing, man, and I would never ever, I'm not interested. I tried it. Not interested. I want to enjoy some of the fruits of my labor, and that thing, I'm good. It's not for everybody. But I do have a very awesome team that are good at what they do, and they bring that funding, okay? So as you're moving forward with having someone on your side negotiating for you if a decline should happen, or let's just say you do get approved, but they lowballed you and they gave you way less, like an insult, like, what am I going to do with $1,000? What is that, right? So they're there, again, to negotiate on your behalf and have those limits increased. And sometimes it could just be as simple as a question needing to be answered correctly. So you have to understand, on business funding, they don't have to tell you why they declined you. They don't have to send you a disclosure notice in the mail saying, dear so-and-so, the reason why we disclosed this or just declined you is because of wada. Go check out the credit bureau. They don't do that for business credit. I said they don't do that for business credit. They do that for consumers because you guys are covered under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Fair Billing Act, all these other little acts that are like so relevant for consumer protections. But when it comes to the business side, you've heard of the terms, it's a shark world. dog world, whatever. It's true, because you got to come into this game knowing what you're doing. If not, more than likely you're going to make a ton of mistakes, or maybe one too many, and you'll probably have to just start over from scratch. So just take it all in. Understand it's a different beast, different mode, different process when it comes to business funding. So now that we got that out of the way, understand that you have to have almost almost everything tip-top shape perfect on your credit profile. That means no lates within the last 24 months. That means no high balances, no derogs, that's collections, charge-offs, repossessions, tax liens. For you guys that, let me just speak on tax liens really quickly. I've had several individuals who work in a certain industry. I won't disclose who, but for some reason, these same issues with tax liens come up, okay? And for whatever reasons that they come up, whether you did a workout or you have a repayment in place, usually you don't have repayment in place is the example that I'm using. This tax lien, whether it be for $2,000 or for $200,000, can stop you in your track from getting funding. Okay? So I need you to really wrap your heads around that. If you guys are thinking you're going to make some major moves really quick, and even if the tax liens do not show up on your credit report, which is something common, and there is a search done on your name, because you have to remember there are more than just the 3 major bureaus that are being used in underwriting purposes. So if a search is done on a certain database and you are in the system for tax liens, it can stop your process. And I have seen it time and time again where clients come in, they show us their reports. We're like, okay, great. You look like a great candidate. Come back with the offer. And it's not until the second level of underwriting is done and does this person have a tax lien for $200,000? And we're like, we didn't see that on the report. Did that just come up? No, it's not on their report. But we have one. Do they have a workout plan? So even though our clients might have that 700 pristine 800 credit score, and they're thinking they're moving and shaking, maybe they even went through a process of someone scrubbing, wiping, and cleaning their report, and it's off, it's still out there somewhere on someone's database. So understand tax liens can actually jack you up the same way that child support can also. So usually anything involving the government, you're going to have a problem, okay? But it's not to say that you can't do anything. It's just that you have to know what are the proper measures and steps to get around and then going forth. Because a lot of times, things can be done, which I won't disclose on here either, because that is something we do give for our one-on-ones. But it's really simple. It's simple stuff, and simple stuff might even be like a headbanger for a lot of y'all. Like, oh, I didn't think of that. Like, why didn't I think of that? So you just have to kind of grip the actual reality of where you are, and gripping the reality of where you are is the first start, and having the opportunity to do it at the least expensive. Now, with credit repair itself, there are several companies, several programs, several opportunities for you to repair your credit, whether you do it yourself. And a lot of times you guys are like, I don't want to do it myself. In fact, I am a major person that will shout across the world, if I can't do something, and I tried it, because I'll definitely try, but if I can't, if I don't get it, I'll say, nope, I'm done. Where's the person that I can pay? And my assistant, she'll say, no, you have to learn. I'm like, no, I don't have time. This is frustrating for me. And I think that if we are in positions where we can actually hire someone and bring them on our team to help us get to our final destination of our end goal of whatever the bottom line is, then we've done what we needed to do. Okay? So she's terrible. And so I'll disclose it. I am not tech savvy, and I try to I tried to implement myself and, you know, get involved with posting stuff on social media. I was so excited about having access to our business Facebook page, and I'm doing my little post on Instagram, and then I got the little button to push to say that it's supposed to post on Facebook at the same time. And I don't know, I don't look at social media in the way I guess most people do. And so today, of all days, we were just kind of going over some things, and I was like, oh yeah, by the way, what does this mean? And I clicked it, and it was a whole new page. I was like, well, what is this? And I said, I saw all the posting that I did, all that work over the months, that nothing happened. And she's like, yeah, unfortunately. I said, nope. Nope, I'm done. And she's like, no, you have to learn. I said, no, I don't. Give somebody else that job. I don't need to do that. I'll learn whenever. It's not relevant for me. If the job can still get done, let somebody else do it. Let them do it. It's nothing wrong with letting somebody else be delegated for that job. And that's what I just want you guys to know. If you are one of those people like me that says, nope, I'm good, let them do it. I'm going to try to do it the least inexpensive way, but let somebody else do it. Please help, okay? So I'll learn as I go. Let me fit in where I fit in. Let me get in. What is it, B? Let me get in where I fit in. She's probably going like... But that's the reality, guys. And I just want y'all to know that you can do it too. You just have to apply yourself. So doing more for less is really going to be curtailed around those who have some issues, like I said, on your credit report. And like I said, with all the different programs that are out there, they may say, oh, it's a pay for a delete, meaning they have their set price for each item that is deleted. Because they might say, you know, your beginning registration and assessment is this dollar amount, and then after the assessment, you only pay for what's deleted. And so there are set terms or set price points for what's, you know, deleted, and then that way it makes you feel good. Oh, I'm only paying for what comes off. And so that still can rack, you know, the bill can be pretty high, especially for those that have the 40 and the 60 items that need to be deleted. And let's say, you know, first round, 30 come off, right? You got an invoice for 30 times whatever the set amount that they gave you. So in this situation, we have an opportunity for you guys to basically slap everything up against the wall. Whatever, you know, whatever is on that report that we see possibly would be, you know, an issue, then those items can be addressed, and you wouldn't have to fall into the category of a pay per delete situation. So number one, that's big. That's really big, and I've seen the results based off of the pre-trial that we've already done for a beta season with just a couple of people. I won't say it was actually more than a couple, but the point is that we had a group of individuals who did go through the process, and we were like, yup, yup, this is going to work. So I just want to let you guys know you have the same opportunity. This is a beta trial test on a larger scale, and that's because we want to take it to another level. We feel that it shouldn't be just localized in one little center area of Philadelphia. We want to take it across all borders in all 50 states, because we see you guys in all these different states, and we want to make sure that we're compliant and just making sure that we're on the state and federal levels of, you know, being right. So that protects you as the consumer, and you don't have to worry about wearing an orange suit later, and it's just more so getting progress made. And on top of that, it's going to be layered with the cost of your credit monitoring. So now, and I love the credit monitor because I know all about the credit monitor. In fact, the credit monitor is in itself, I think by itself, is the cost of the program for real, and that's because of what it does. It is a real-time credit monitoring system. It has a lot of bells and whistles. I'm going to do an actual, I probably will do a live so you guys can see these different, resources that you'll be able to have in this one package beta situation that we're doing. So you'll have access to that. And then for those that make me nervous, I have a couple of clients that really made me nervous, and that was one of the other reasons why I like this program for you guys, because I have clients that have stacks with the rubber bands. I don't know what it is with the rubber bands. I don't know. Maybe it's because they like to play with them. I don't know. But they make me nervous when they're out in the street with their stacks of cards, and they're like, wow, this is for this and this, and that's fine. Or if they're carrying their little man purse and they have like a book of cards, and it's like, okay, sir, ma'am, what happens if somebody hits you over your head and takes that? Or what if you leave it by accident? In fact, I had someone that left it by accident in the airport, talking, whatever, left it in the airport, and they were like, oh my God. And they had like over 50 cards. So one of the things that makes me nervous is having multiple cards, and I was saying more than 5, okay? More than 5 cards, and you lose something. How do you know where to call? Like, what number do you know to call to say cancel, please? Okay? Or how do you know if the card was even being spent at the time that you lost it, or if it's just, maybe it's in your possession and somebody's using it, okay? So there is another resource in our program that you will be able to now upload all your bank cards in this protected, secured site that is basically going to track all of what you're doing. So that way, if you lose something, it will actually even probably have some actual alerts on there saying, hey, is this you? Because we see you over here in China and you're in America. What's going on? So you want to make sure that we can have a lot of resources that's just going to help you gravitate to being more organized with getting better with your credit profile, increasing the scores. Like, all those things are going to be necessary, and you gotta make sure you understand that these resources are not cheap. But to be able to bundle it the way we are able to bundle it and give it to you guys as a beta, I think is amazing. It's amazing. And then on top of that, you guys are going to get a 45-minute crash course with me, because I'm going to just put it all in the blueprint for you guys, especially for those that are business owners and they're like, I just need a break. You're going to get your break during the session. And then after that, there's a 15-minute scheduled call, which will be a discovery call to look at your credit report and go over what we probably could do, and kind of like merge it together like a perfect storm while you're going through, if you got to go through anything regarding repair and enhancement for your report. So, and there is some other bells and whistles that I don't want to get involved with right now, because I'm going to save that for the class. But at the same time, guys, there's no excuse. Like, this thing right here is no excuse. If you don't do this, you're not ready. You're not serious. I mean, even I got kids doing it, literally. Well, they're not kids. They're teens. In fact, there's one teen I'm tracking right now, and we're going to make sure you guys see access to her. She is someone who's very close to me, as well as someone that I want to see make it. And because she's 19, I'm like, oh my gosh, do you not know what is getting ready to happen to you? Like, I get all excited because I look at it as me. It's me in her. I'm just dumping it in her brain, like, open your mind, let me just throw up in your head. Right? So she is now going through the phase. She went through the phase of seeing what's on her credit report. After that, she's now doing some things that are being added to her report, and we're going to see the results in a very short while. So I'm excited. As y'all can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear, because homegirl's going to have A1 credit and probably better than her sister, cousin, family member, and somebody going to ask, can you co-sign? She going to be like, nope. Go talk to Almitra. So I just want to make sure you guys can do the same. She's not a full-time business owner. She's a part-time business owner. She's actually in the making of, establishing herself. And because we know that you have to establish yourself very, very soon, because it's a 6-month process. to establish yourself, whether you're a brand newbie or if you're someone that has been in business and you just have an underdeveloped profile. But you have to understand it takes about 6 to 12 months. So the longer you push this process out is the longer it's going to be before you can get access to real funding for your business. And when I say real funding, I'm talking about cash cards that are attached to Visa, Master, Amex, Discover, Citi, Chase, Barclays, all those wonderful cards that you guys usually hear about. The metal cards, okay? Metal cards, they're actually like, your soda can, but it's harder, it's thicker. So in order to get to those levels, you got to start right now, like now. And you can dig into 6 months real easy because we got 6 months left in this decade. So by January of 2020, you're looking at a whole different profile. You're looking at a whole different you. And I'm not just saying it, guys. Oh my gosh, even if you just pay somebody late yesterday, it can be for real. But you have to be the one to say, yes, this is what I want and I'm ready. And even if you think you're not ready, you are ready. You really are ready, okay? Do not let the 3-digit number intimidate you. It has intimidated me several times, but now I don't allow it to. Okay, and it's been like that for a few years now. I used to be very imitated. I used to be like, oh, I can't breathe. What happened to my score? I don't know what to do. I just want to cry. Okay, so I did all that for you, and I'm telling you, it's okay. You will be okay. You will get over it. But do not let this 3-digit number intimidate you into paralysis where you do nothing and you say, I'll just wait. I'll just let it fall off, because it more than likely the old item will fall off and a new one will pop on from the collection. And then when that one falls off, another collection will show up. And then when that one falls off, another one. And then now you got 4, 5, 10 collections from the same account. That is very common. So because I'm saying all that, this is a very inexpensive way for you to get your stuff in order. And then that way it makes more room and more financial available funds to go towards setting up your business, because you do need money to set up the business with the state. If you're going to register with the state, every state, of course, is different in the pricing. But I know in my state it's like $170 just to register with the state. If you want the fictitious name, that's another $70. So these are the things that you have to kind of more so make yourself known to, so that way you're going into it with both eyes wide open, okay? So just make sure you put yourself in a better light, better position, so you can see what's happening for yourself, and then say, I'm so glad I did this now because I'm 6 months in. And then some of you, like, and I would say, depending on what's on the report, some of you can do it shorter than 6 months. Because not everybody is so toe up from the flow up. Like, not everybody has to pay a bunch of balances down. Not everybody has to do some of those weird things that you hear people talk about. In fact, I was looking at some, and I meant to post this because I sometimes I breathe, eat, sleep, credit. But there was one gentleman who was so upset. He was like, tell me this. Okay, this was on a forum. He said, tell me this. How is it that my credit scores are a 614, 619, and a 628, and I had 3 cars that I paid, 2 of which I paid off, and they were on time. I still have the one, and I'm paying on time. I paid off a student loan, $30,000 cash, period, point blank, and I bought a house cash. Why is my score so low? I didn't do anything, and I felt so sorry for him, because I get it. I mean, if you're doing that much and it's all positive, and then you go to look at your score and say, those kind of scores, that would irritate me too. So in order to really understand how to make your scores be a 727, mind you, I didn't say 719, I didn't say 702, because they are batched with the 697s and the 698s. I'll say 698s, okay? So 698 is what you're probably looking at if you have a 719. And then when I say what you're looking at is rates, okay? So in order to like really get in the sauce and in the Kool-Aid, as they would say, 727s and above are where you're going to start finding your most optimal rates, lowest payments, this 0% interest offers. Like, those are the ones that you're going to be able to really take advantage of. But in order to get there, the scores are one thing, but the profile is another, to be able to get you those decent lines. Because you could just be a 747 with a 500 credit limit, or $1,000 credit limit, or a $2,700 credit limit, and that's it. That's all you're getting. Okay, so in order to get past those thresholds, even with the limits, because some of you are stuck. Some of you right now, and this is not putting the bank out there, but there's a Capital One company that is good for having you to sign up 5 years ago, and you go to look, and you are still that same limit, and you may have paid on time every chance you had. You paid before time. You paid the whole thing off. Had the card for 5 years, and the limits are still the same. Why? Some cards just don't increase limits. Some will, and they'll just be like, okay, your limit is $500. How about $550? Do you feel good? And I'm making light of this. I promise you guys I am. But this is what's going on. Especially when I know that Capital One will give out a $25,000 limit off the cuff for a business line. I'm just saying. So in order to get there, you got to set your profiles up. You got to make them stronger. And in order to do that, we're definitely going to give you the goods in this crash course, because that is where you'll be able to find yourself. This is where you'll be able to go cry silently. And I say silently because you don't want everybody to hear it. Go in the room, go in your closet, and wail profusely after all of what you felt, and get your emotions out there and all that stuff. Be mad, angry, all at the same time. Then get rid of it and then move on. Okay? So just take it for what I'm saying. You know, this is an opportunity. It's $10, unless Miss Ryan could tell me something different. I know that we had a bunch of people giving us a ring, like, sign me up. I'm like, did you go online? No. I ain't go online. Sign me up. And my kids. and my kids and them. And that's fine. We want that. But it's just funny. I know a lot of you are still old school, calling in and sending emails. That's so sweet. I love them. So keep them coming. Keep them coming. But use your online. Use your online so that way you can get in the system and it's registered. Your seat is taken. Everything is done automatically, and we're not doing manual work. All right. So, the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is the student loan defrauding situation. Student loans. I am going to talk about that because that is also some of you guys' problem when you're trying to get funding. Some of you are in default and didn't know you were in default. Some of you have gone to colleges where maybe they just, their terms were not right, or something happened where it was just a complete sham, a scam, whatever you want to call it. And there's several colleges that I can think of. In fact, I do have someone that I want to say their loans were maybe $60,000, and they were able to get them all forgiven due to the fact of the way the school curriculum was not actually there was no real accreditations. So they were able to get rid of the $60,000 debt. It was actually a school out in California in a very prominent area, okay? But this school was there, and they charged this individual for, I want to say, 2 years of college, and it was about $60,000. It was a high-end type of industry that they were getting into, but there was no real accreditation. So we were able to write it up for them on their behalf, and the loans were forgiven, and the items were removed from their credit report because they had damaged the credit report, saying, oh, you didn't pay, and they were in dispute. I don't know where that voice came from, but y'all get it. The point is that they damaged the credit report with at least, I think, maybe 6 or 7 derogatory accounts from this private school loan. So it was private school loans as well as money from the U.S. Department of Education. So there was a lot involved. It was very messy, and in the process, their credit was torn. It was torn because of all the lates that were happening, and just the weird stuff that was happening with these particular accounts. So once it was all said and done, we were able to help them get these loans forgiven, removed, deleted from the existence of them even owing the debt, and also getting the negative information off the report. So I have posted that article on my Facebook. For you guys that are on Periscope, go to my Facebook page, which is This Gal Talks Credit. That is This Gal Talks Credit. And you'll be able to see that most recent post that I talked about, or it's talking about the student loan default frauds. And so basically, there was a lawsuit that was posed against DeVos and a bunch of colleges. It's tons of colleges that are being sued due to this whole trying to take away the student loan forgiveness. And a lot of these students are falling into the category of where they were defrauded with their student loans, and yeah, there's a lawsuit going on. So I just want you guys to be aware that if you have student loans that are in default and you haven't made a workout plan, know that if you have tried to do it on yourself, on your own, and you were declined, or if they decided they didn't get your paperwork, or they don't want your paperwork, it's in the article that their higher ups, these individuals that are receiving the applications daily, were actually instructed to not accept anymore. They were like, yeah, all those applications that are coming in day by day, just don't even accept them. I'm sorry. I can just imagine what that dialogue looks like in an office setting. So there's thousands of applications that are pouring in. And, for those that had already put their applications in, let's say in January or February or whenever you did it, and you call and say, hey, what's the status? They're like, yeah, we don't have an answer yet. Yeah, sorry, call back. And that's after a 45 to an hour wait. Either she was on hold, only to be told that in less than 30 seconds. So just have thick skin. Know that there is a changing of the guard. There's a lot of weird stuff that's going on in the financial industry, in the credit industry, in the banking industry. There's a lot of stuff, and I'm telling you guys, if you do not get yourself out of the spider web of at least doing your part to work on these personal credit reports, you might find yourself in a jam when they decide that they're going to start really messing with you guys and not let you repair your credit, not let you use the resources through the credit reporting agencies to get it done. And for those that are using the online disputing process, please stop. Please stop using that process, because you are giving up your rights. It's almost like if you were stopped on the street by an officer and they said they're going to not tell you what your rights are. You would say, I want my rights. I have the right to. Y'all start quoting the rights for them, right? So it's the same thing. If you decide to use a disputing process through the 3 bureaus or whatever credit monitoring system you guys have access to, you are doing a dangerous disservice to yourself, because there are certain rights. In fact, there's a bunch of rights that you basically forfeit by doing it online. So it's best to just stay away from online processes, doing it through the monitors. You got to remember who's powering up these monitors too. You'll be able to find that information if you scroll either all the way to the bottom where the fine print is, where it's like near contact us, and it'll disclose, what type of formula is being used for the score. It'll also tell you who it's powered by, and usually it's either powered by one or the other. It's either powered by Experian, or it'll flip over and say Equifax and TransUnion, or the two will break themselves up and say it's just TransUnion or just Equifax. But you'll never see all three together as friends, and there's a story behind that, and I'll talk about that another time. But stay away from the online disputes, guys. I know it's a quick, fast microwave situation, but it's a death trap. Because let's just say you do the dispute online and you're like, yes, I'm ready, I'm doing this. And then you see the results. Yes, it came off, it's deleted. Yes, and you only have like a couple of selections. I think it maybe give you 3 or 5 reasons why this account you're disputing on. And it's really the most redundant answers. This account's not mine. I hate that one. It's yours. It's yours. Say it's yours. Just they should have like a little part where you could type in other. It's mine, but this. Okay. So those answers are very ambiguous, and it usually is the same answer for every item that you're submitting on. So please know that it is not the way to go, because if the item does come off, and it should pop up 6 months later, now they don't even have to talk to you anymore, because there's a code against your name that says, no, we don't have to talk to you. We don't have to talk to you, and we don't have to dispute this item. This item is now frivolous because of that code that went against your name. So that's the item that will probably sit on your report for a little bit longer, maybe a year, 2 years. I'm not trying to scare y'all. It's not a scare straight tactic. This is for real, okay? And a lot of times, you guys that are coming from other credit repair companies, more than likely, that's probably some of the reasons as to why some items are still staying on your report, because they either use that tactic, or some person that you let use your report to do repair, and they did it online. Don't run to their house telling my son, why you go online? Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? You made the mistake. Okay? They made the mistake. They didn't know better. Okay? But I'm telling you, stay away from online disputing. There are other ways you can dispute online, and we will talk about that in the class. And like I'm saying, I'm so excited about this opportunity, because I can't wait to see how many people are actually going to improve themselves in a very record time. Like, it's not a year, guys. So please reserve yourselves. Put yourself in that classroom. Put yourself in front of me, online, virtual. Use your phone. Sneak at work. Do it at lunch. I don't care. Just do what you got to do, because I know for a fact that this is going to be an opportunity of a lifetime. The individuals that we're working with, it's a quiet storm, and it's going to be a nice storm where the rain is relief. It's relief, okay? So keep in mind, this is, again, all contingent on whether you're ready or not. I can't make you push the button. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. You got to be ready. You got to get your mind eventually cleansed from all the nonsense that you guys have been exposed to over the series of years. And just more so, just get ready. That's all. So I'm going to give you those resources in that crash course. I'm going to give you that 15-minute discovery call with myself, which is normally an opportunity just to get a plan of action. Even if you just took it as a plan of action, like that thing, it's a dead steal. Like, y'all stealing from Credit Fitness right now. I just hope y'all know that. And I'm saying it with a smile. Y'all stealing right now. But I'm going to let you. I think everybody should deserve a break. So Independence Day is coming. This is true independence, because it's really going to be able to get you off of your personal platform and get you set up for your business platform, your business profile, using Dun & Bradstreet, getting your payback score actually growing. And on top of that, you're going to activate the other two bureaus. Actually, it's more than that, but you're going to activate the other two bureaus, which are the majors, Business Equifax and Business TransUnion and Experian. I'm sorry. And so just get ready. That's all I can say. Get ready. Do what you need to do. Go to enforcedaccuracy.com. Use the link in my bio for Enforced Accuracy's landing page. Sign up. There is a reserve after the first 25 business owners. I already know that we are less than 25 now, but I want to make sure you guys do it, because after 25, it goes up to 20, and then we're just going to keep inching it up until the actual day of the class. And more than likely, we'll just try to do what we can as far as those who are able to get in at the last, because we do want to have a cutoff as to how many people are in the room, just to keep it intimate enough so I can answer those one-on-one questions in that group setting and be able to control the masses as to how many 15-minute segments I have to do. I mean, I got to eat and sleep too, y'all. Y'all be like, why are you sleeping, taking a nap? It's 9:30 p.m. Girl, wake up. Do this consult. Because I got to tell you about my business that's about to close, and I need you right now. Or somebody's... I'm laughing because these are real, y'all wouldn't even understand. People call us like that. My business is about to close. You got to wake up. It'd be like 6 a.m. You be like, what time is it? It's 6:30. Wake up. My business is about to close. Well, how long did you know it was going to close? I knew it for about a year, but now I'm at the 11:59 minute. It's about to be 12 midnight. And I'm laughing because if I don't laugh, I'll be ready to strangle somebody. But to be honest, like, give yourself some time. Use this time to do what you do. Get in the room. And then if you need something more intimate than that, yeah, let us know. Let's get this ball rolling. It's 6 more months left in the decade. Do something, y'all. Listen, if y'all don't do anything, y'all don't respond, when the time comes to be full price, and you start responding like, do you still have that $10? No, y'all. No. Okay? So that's all I got for this evening. Make sure you check out that read. It's only a 3-minute read, y'all. If you can't read the story for 3 minutes, y'all are not ready. Alright? So, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, if you're watching, send your clients to this class. Pay for the class for them. Because you guys are going to get them at the table after they're done with us. And you'll be able to track them. We have an awesome situation for you guys to be able to get behind the scenes and follow their progress. So now you have accountability with them. And that way, if you're saying, are you really serious about buying a house? Because if you're not, then, you know, or you can actually see that they really are serious and you keep them on track from running to the actual car dealer and getting a wonderful truck or a wonderful, awesome foreign car, and now they can't go to settlement because they bought the vehicle before the house. You guys know how that story ends. So if you're sitting there with all those unused files, those files that you can't work, send them to the class. It's $10. I don't know what else to say. Alright guys, that's all I got for tonight. I hope you guys will click, like, and share. Share. I want to get this page moving, y'all, now that I done messed up. See? Need help. Help me. So, send this out. Get my page out there the way it was supposed to be. I don't know what I was doing, y'all, but make sure I click and share. I'm going to be sharing some old posts that I did on the other page I done created from something. Should have had a doggone manager. I was like, no, I want to work my own social media. I want it to be organic. And it's from me. You see where that got me? I need help. Everybody need a little help. And I'm just saying. It's okay. Delegate, y'all. Delegate your repair. Delegate your enhancement and building skills with a professional. And I think we know a little something about credit. And I think we can help you in that area. So I'm looking to see you guys in that class. Register. And I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your evening.